G'day mates, what is going on? This is going to be part 2 of the top 10 money-making methods that you can use or you can get involved with as it relates to Pokemon. As if you missed part 1, make sure you go and watch that video. I'll link that up in the eye of this video right now and it'll be linked in the description. Go watch number 1 through 5 on the previous video. This video is going to be all about 6 through 10. We're going to continue going through our presentation and we're going to kick it off and just get right into it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Number 6 is investing in Pokemon cards. All right. Now, I think all of us, no matter where a collector, investor, have different opinions about Pokemon. At the end of the day, we're all at heart, we like to think about the future, right? And we like to think about how much these cards could be worth in 20 years time. And, whether we're a collector or not, we still want to hold these cards for a long period of time because we know that they're going to be more valuable, right? So a lot of these older cards too, like the WotC era. So let's talk about this a little bit because this is kind of an interesting concept because when it comes to investing, I'm not really the expert on this topic, okay? But I have had some experience. I have a business background. This is something that I'm a big advocate for. But if you're investing in Pokemon, you want to make sure that it's disposable income that you have, right? You don't want to be, forking out your credit card, balance, or you taking a loan to invest in product because at the end of the day, your interest rates are probably going to be higher than it would be to just hold and keep that product and then sell it for what it's worth in the end, right? If you've got those interest rates, then that's going to be a little counterintuitive. So when it comes to investing in Pokemon, especially sealed product, remember that your money will be tied up, okay? So when you're putting money aside into sealed product, you see a lot of people now buying up sealed product and keeping it at their house. I've seen so many pictures of people with just crazy amounts of collection boxes and all this other stuff. I'm thinking to myself, why are you holding stuff that really isn't going to retain its value over the long haul, right? You want to be buying product, the sealed product that will hold its value, that's really hot and people really would want to have in the future. You got to really think about that. It's not that everything's going to be worth more in the future. You got to think about what kind of product will be worth more in the future or more likely to based on what's in the actual sealed product, right? So, you want to make sure that you are investing in the right things and that you're using disposable income for that. Okay, so it can be difficult to know what the best cards and the sets are to invest in. It will take some time to learn and educate yourself. So again, there is so much to learn when it comes to the TCG, right? There's so many cards, so many sets. I remember being so overwhelmed when I got into it because I was like, dude, I have not been around for the last 10 years or more and I have no idea what any of these sets are. It can be really, really overwhelming. And it will just take some time that you need to really spend to get to know these sets, to go and research and find what are the chase cards, what are the cards people want the most, and really doing your research on that side because at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? In the future, these sealed product that may be undervalued right now, you need to be able to determine what is actually valuable in the future, okay? And so you don't exactly 100% know, but you got to make your best educated guess. You can't just be buying up product just because it's sealed product, right? And thinking, oh, I'm going to hold it for 20 years. It's just not a good mentality. So when it comes to investing, there's definitely some things that you need to learn. There's definitely a learning curve there, but it can be learned very easily as long as you put in the time. Now, if something's too good to be true, it is. Be careful. So if anyone's selling anything, I especially caution you guys to make sure you be very, very careful with sealed vintage product. There's lots of that stuff that's been popping up on the market that is fake. I do not want you guys buying a vintage or WotC era box or a booster box and end up finding out 20 years later that it's fake. That would suck. Okay, so you need to be very, very careful at how you go about that. Now, investing in modern is a lot more risky than vintage. I think this is a very important thing to talk about, but there are certain modern things that may have more of a projected value based on what's in the set, right? Like Hidden Fates or XY Evolutions, because it's very nostalgic. But you need to remember that it is going to be the most versatile as well. So, the older you go back with vintage and the more popular cards you have within the vintage market are generally going to be worth more in the future, okay? Because the older they get, the more valuable they will become as long as Pokemon continues to be a really popular franchise, which it is. And then, the other thing I wanted to mention here is the least amount of time actually working other than research. So it's one of those methods where you don't have to invest a ton of time into really knowing and keeping up with this money making method, right? There are lots of people out there that make smart investment decisions as it relates to TCGs. There's also other things that you can invest in as well. It relates to Pokemon, you don't have to spend a lot of time other than the time you spend researching. You don't have to do a live stream every week or two. You don't have to, record videos on a monthly basis, right? You don't have to do those sorts of things. So it doesn't require a whole lot of time. So the difficulty is, I gave it a 4 out of 10 because there is a learning curve to learn and research some of this stuff, but the risk level is a 5 out of 10. Because I feel like it's like that middle ground where you need to make sure you have that disposable income. And if you're investing in things and you're basing this off your research and you're investing in things for the future, I think generally if you don't jump the gun and buy things just because you want them or just because you think that they're going to be good and really be able to back it up with research, I don't feel like it's a risky investment to make. Remember, when you're investing in something like Pokemon, you have to understand that you have to be okay with losing that money, okay? Because at the end of the day, Pokemon franchise could completely, hit the ground. We don't know. It wouldn't seem that way, but things can happen. You got to protect yourself. So I just want to caution you guys with that as well when it comes to investing. But it's definitely a very big part of the Pokemon TCG, as we know. And that is one of those money making methods. So let's jump to the next one here. All right. Number 7, commission-based selling for other people. So this is an interesting one because I saw someone doing this, and I know a lot more people than just this person does it, but Z&G Emporium does this commission-based selling for other people. Now, what does this actually mean? Commission-based selling is you take the product that someone else is trying to sell. Let's say someone has a vintage first edition Team Rocket box. And the deal is that you give that person, or that person gives you the first edition Team Rocket box, and with your skills with selling online and connections you may have, sell that box and take a little percentage of the commission for the sales price. So for example, maybe it could be between 1% and 5%, right? You take a small little commission fee. Now, you didn't pay for the box, right? You just spent your time selling it. So something that's worth, $15,000 and you make a 1% commission, you're looking at something like $150. Now, it may not sound like a lot, but if you get 3% or 4%, you're looking at, somewhere between $600 or $750 for the sale. So they can add up as you kind of build up your portfolio, you build up trust with people. And these are kind of some of the points I mentioned here of things to remember for this money-making method. So you don't need to have your own product or inventory, right? You sell other people's. Now, it will be hard to build up some reputation at first for commission-based selling because people need to trust you. That's why you want to start small. Start with smaller, cheaper stuff, right? And find friends and family and people that, trust you already, and do that for them. Share your experience online, even post about it on Instagram, share with people, the investments or the commission-based selling that you've done, the success you've had with it. And you have to remember that this is a very risk-free process because you don't have to have any of your own product, right? You don't have to have any capital. You can start up today and start building up your reputation. But you need to know the price of the market, right? So when you're thinking about your sales channels, you've got obviously eBay, Etsy, Amazon, you got Facebook Marketplace, you've got local sales, all those sorts of things. You have to understand and know the market value of certain products. So you need to research things before you sell them, obviously. But the risk level is a 1 out of 10 because you don't have to have any of your own money. You just have to make sure that you don't lose the person's product and it stays in good condition, and then it's sold for the right price, and you don't get you make sure that the person pays for it, and then you give that money to the person you did the commission sale for. The difficulty for this, though, I gave it a 6 out of 10 because the amount of time it might take to build up reputation and get people to trust you in handling their products is something that is it may take a little bit of time, but with a little bit of hustle, I think that you can definitely make it happen, by starting with cheaper price things and starting from there and kind of building your way up, okay? So that is the 7th point. The next one money-making method I want to go over is express grading service, okay? This is number 8. So when it comes to express grading, the way it works is that you will you'll get cards from other people. You'll receive cards in from other people, and you'll purchase a subscription. You would have purchased a subscription with PSA or Beckett, where you get cheaper pricing and you get higher priority when you're sending in for grading. Now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be the middleman. You're going to be the person who is either filling out the spreadsheet for all the submissions of the cards that someone submits to you, writing up the spreadsheet, formatting it correctly so you can submit that to PSA or Beckett, and then sending them off, getting them back, and sending them back to the customer, okay? Now, what you'll end up happening is you'll be making a little bit of money off of those cards that you're sending in for grading, okay? Now, these prices are going to be less than what it would cost you to send them in yourself, as well as it'll be a faster time period, okay? So when it comes to express grading, there's lots of, there's some LGSs or local game stores that do this. There's other little companies that are popping up who are doing express grading, like I mentioned earlier on the other video, Graded Gem and also DFW Pokemon. There's lots of others out there. Those are just the two I'm familiar with. But you can set up a middleman service like that where people can give you their cards and you can send them for grading. So you need to build up a reputation again. So a lot of this has to do with reputation, and in business, it's just how it goes. You've got to build up a reputation. You've got to start somewhere, right? And you want to start small. So again, you don't need to take, on, 10 first edition Charizards to grade. You can take on something smaller, something that doesn't cost as much, and start there. And you're going to be a service-based business, okay? Not a product business. This is very important because you have to understand that if you're a service-based business, your customer comes first, all right? Your customer experience and the way that they feel and the whole process that they go on with you and the journey they go on to send their cards in, you get them graded and then come back and then get them sent back to them. They need to be communicated with. They need to be able to understand what part of the process their cards are in for them to feel good about what they're doing and to provide a good customer experience. So these are all things that you want to think about when it comes to running like a express grading service. You got to remember that you're a service-based business, and customer service is everything. Now, if you're an organized person, you will love this. And if you aren't, it will be very difficult. So, when it comes to express grading, you need to be so organized. I can't tell you how long it takes to organize cards, especially bulk. It's very, very difficult. And we're not talking about bulk here as well. But it does take a lot to organize cards and keep everything, really, really organized so you don't get things lost, right? Super important you don't lose your customers' cards. And, you get to see some of the coolest cards in the market. So again, you get to see people's submissions. You can even potentially turn it into content as well and kind of show the submissions and build a reputation that way. Show the cards you're going to be submitting. You can create YouTube videos. You can create content on Facebook or Instagram for that. And yeah, that's kind of what express grading is. And those are some points to remember. So the difficulty for this is 8 out of 10. I feel like the trust factor is the hardest part to really get going, as well as, obviously having to pay for a membership fee, which can be anywhere. I think it's a couple of $100 or more for a yearly fee, and it's a lot of organized work as well. So if that's something that you don't particularly like, if you don't like you're not an organized person, this may not be for you. But you need to expect some long nights and some tedious work, because that's kind of what you're in for. So difficulty is a lot higher, I feel like, with this, and the risk level is like a 3 out of 10, because again, you're not really investing a whole lot into your own stuff. You kind of just use other people's product and provide a service for them. The only thing that you need to really consider is the safety of people's cards. That's really the biggest part of this business model, and making money with it, building up trust. It's a really important thing that they can trust you and that the cards are safe, right? All right, number 9, let's jump into it. Becoming a reseller and selling sealed product. Man, if I could say one thing about 2020, it would be that everyone wants to become a reseller and sell sealed product. Now, there has been an incredible amount. Let me actually jump back here one slide. There's been an incredible amount of people that have been submitting applications to become distributors to some of the big, or submitting to distributors to become a reseller of Pokemon product. And right now there's a lot of barriers that you have to go through in order to get approved for that, because there's just been such a massive influx of people who are applying. So this can be a little bit difficult, but obviously we all want to sell Pokemon product. It's a dream, right? but it can come with its challenges. So a massive amount of people are applying to be resellers. Just like I mentioned, this process is taking people months to get approved, even buy product from distributors. And that's even if you're allocated product. Remember that these distributors, based on their relationship with the reseller, they can decide how much product they want to give you. So you may not even get allocated any product. If you go to a distributor and you say, hey, I want $500 worth of product, you're probably not going to get it. Distributors want to be able to sell a larger quantity of stuff. So you'd be looking at placing, a few $1,000 orders, $10,000 orders of product. They're going to be much more fond of you if you come into the market and you become a reseller and you're buying a large amount of product, because obviously the more they sell, the better. Now, you can't come into being a reseller and expect to just get allocated all of your product that you want, because that's not going to happen. So there's lots of different things, difficulties that you kind of have to get through with that. But like I said here, if you don't have capital and don't place decent sized orders, you won't get allocated much. And building a relationship with distributors is the key. This will help you get more product in the future. So the other things to remember is that you be prepared to do a lot of shipping. I think with a lot of these ideas, you're doing a lot of shipping as it is, and you will need to build up a reputation for your reseller, right? Creating a website, having a brand, even creating content to help promote yourself out there. But there's ways you can start out with without a whole lot of reputation as well. And this will give you access to steal product you can't find anywhere. So obviously, that's the real benefit, is having product at MSRP or lower than MSRP from distributors and being able to resell that as well, right? There's a lot of people who are interested in doing that. So the difficulty for this, I believe, is a 7 out of 10. It is really difficult to get 1 approved and 2 allocated product. It really is a bloodbath out there when it comes to applying to be a reseller. So you really got to be careful of that. And then the risk level is a 7 out of 10, because you have to remember that when you're ordering product, you can be ordering product and get stuck with product that you can't sell, or stuck with product that comes down in value, or you're sitting on product that you thought you were able to sell a lot quicker, right? I think that there's a big risk factor when it comes to having your own Pokemon resellers license and being able to sell Pokemon TCG products. And you really have to consider that when it comes to reselling. It's not, I think that the market or people make it out to be like it's some glorious thing. But, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, it's not as enjoyable, as fun as you may think. And, I think it's just nice to be able to, we see people who make videos about their inventory and things online. It's cool to see they have a lot of product, but at the end of the day, they're spending a lot of the time shipping and, trying to get allocations and, trying to keep cash flow, going through the business properly. And, they're sitting on, different sets that don't sell. For example, when a new set comes out, like Rebel Clash, you expect to sell a lot, but then a lot of these resellers are sitting on Rebel Clash stock that isn't sold. So you really have to take those things into consideration. So that is number 9. We're going to be coming into number 10 now, and that is selling singles or bulk on the open market. Now, this is an interesting one and something you may have already heard of before, but let's talk about this just a little bit, because this is something that is really, really good to do. It is a extremely tedious process. It's an extremely hard process, and it's very, very important that you're an organized person for this. But with selling singles, every cent saved in expenses counts. Every cent made with each card counts, because when you're selling singles, you obviously have to have, shipping supplies where you can send these out really, really cheap. And you want to make sure that you are making money on these singles cards, and you're not overpaying for shipping and things like that and fees. So it can be a very tedious process selling singles, but, if you're selling, even 100, 200 cards a week, you can be making anywhere, from 100, 200 up to $500,000 a week, depending on what cards you're selling, what types of cards you're selling. Even if you're selling 500 a week, you're making like $1,000, $2 a card or something. But it is a very, very tedious process. So you need to really have a rigid organization system for your singles or your bulk. And you can do this with little capital, because you can purchase a bunch of bulk and start selling it. Now, the way that you do this is you can do this through eBay. You can sell on the Facebook Marketplace. You can sell your singles on TCG Player. Makes it really, really easy and robust to be able to sell on TCG Player. And as I mentioned just here, best place you can begin is a TCG Player. And building your reputation is critical, right? It's critical for growing your business to build that reputation up, to know that you're the people that people can come to sell their bulk and to purchase bulk from you for people who are trying to build competitive decks, for people who are trying to complete their master sets. They can come to you and buy product from you and can trust that you can get them out to them, right? So cheap shipping and shipping supplies as well as your systems will be a massive part of your business. So building a real system around being able to know which part of the process, your whole business is, for example, like what I mean is you want to have like a section for shipping. You want to have a section where you can organize your inventory. You want to have a section where you can ship stuff out. You want to have all of this stuff really, really organized. So you can kind of get a good system going for selling your stuff, because this does take a lot of time. And finding cheap shipping products, the best thing to do is buy in bulk. You want to buy a lot at a time, because that's the best way you're going to get it the cheapest. And you got to save even 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents. That adds up when you start selling 1,000 cards at 3 cents each. That ends up being what, $300. So you can see how those little things do make a big difference. So that's going to be number 10. If you have enjoyed so far, please leave a like on this video. I really, really appreciate it. If you found value here, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe, because I have lots of awesome content related around this and that I've been wanting to share with you guys. So please hit that subscribe button. But guys, what was your favorite method from this presentation? Which one are you going to start today? I'd like to hear down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys think is your favorite method and something that you would like to go and get started with today. All right. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you watching part 2. And like I said, if you haven't watched part 1, go and watch part 1 now. It's a great 5 different other ways in addition to these ones that we've gone over. But until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.